That's us live, Chair.
Okay, thank you, Peter. Okay, members, welcome to the 62nd meeting of the Public Accounts Committee in this mandate. Can I advise all members that the committee meeting will be recorded and broadcast throughout Parliament buildings and online. However, there could be a slight delay in moving to any private session back into public, so please be patient with the system. Can I also advise those that will be joining us in the public gallery that they're most welcome to use their mobile devices, provided they're on airplane mode and that their devices are muted. You can connect to the Assembly Wi-Fi, and the password can be found in the gallery rules, and it is not permitted at any time to take photographs or record this meeting. We have apologies today from Tom Buchanan, MLA, and Padraig Delargy, MLA, and joining us online, we have John Burrows, MLA. I too am remote today, and I think we'll be joined shortly by David Honeyford, MLA. Can I refer you, members, to the draft minutes? There's a copy of the draft minutes of the meeting of the 29th of January 26 at pages 6 to 11 of the meeting pack. Members are agreed that's an accurate reflection of our previous meeting. I'll have them signed.
Yep.
Or Dan will sign them, I should say. Okay,
Thank you. Sign, yeah.
Okay, members, can I remind you as always that to consider the full agenda for the meeting and that any relevant declarations are made early in the meeting to ensure that they're recorded in open session. At this point, I'll ask members if you've any interest to declare.
Yep. So I'm bringing forward a member's bill in relation to homelessness and also chair of the Communities Committee.
Just there as well.
Thank
just
you, Colin.
APS to Communities Minister, Chair.
Great, Stephen. Okay, that's it. Okay. All right, members, we'll now move on to agenda item 4. I think it's important that we take this opportunity to congratulate John Burrows, MLA, on becoming the leader of the Ulster Unionist Party last weekend. So, John, on behalf of the committee, congratulations on
Thank you.
That important role, and we wish you well. Hopefully, you'll be staying with us.
Yes, I fully intend to, yes.
Good, good. Okay, members, we'll move on to item 5, which is matters arising. At pages 15 to 49 of the pack is correspondence from the Department for Education with a copy of the Careers Action Plan relating to the MOR for the inquiry into developing skills in Northern Ireland. Are you content to note the correspondence?
Great.
Yep.
Okay. At page 50 of the pack is correspondence from DERA with a timeline on their public consultation and publication of strategy relating to the proposed inquiry on waste management and waste crime. Are members content to note this correspondence? Okay. And further consideration, members, will be given to inquiry selection under the forward work programme later in the agenda under item 8. At item 6 with correspondence, on page 18 of the meeting pack, there is a link to the pivotal report, 2 years of the Northern Ireland Executive. Some of the key findings of relevance to this committee are delays in the publishing and implementation of major frameworks and long-term strategies, such as hospital reconfiguration plans, wastewater infrastructure plans, and a long-term investment strategy, which are hampering progress against the programme for government. Pivotal have also identified a lack of consistent mechanism reporting progress against programme for government priorities, making scrutiny and accountability very difficult. Members also recognise that these are common themes across reports that we have produced as a committee, and that we continue to consider these areas when forming our recommendations into these important matters. Has members any particular views on the pivotal report at this point, or are you content to note the report?
Yep, content to note.
Okay, thank you. Okay, members, we're now at agenda 11, which is the Ministerial Direction Financial Support Scheme for Blue Tongue Pre-Movement Testing. At pages 5 to 18 of the table pack is the Ministerial Direction on the Financial Support Scheme for Blue Tongue. And at this point, can we welcome to the meeting is Dorinnia joining us remotely? Is that right? Yes.
Yes, Chair.
Yes, yeah. Have we got our code?
Yes, they're bringing her in now.
Chair, she's just joining us.
Yes, we do. Okay. Hi, Dorinnia. We've just got to this section of the agenda. So at this point, you're very welcome remotely. You'll have to unmute your device, and then you're free to update us on the most recent ministerial direction. And if you could explain, Dorinnia, as CNAG, how this is different or similar to the other ministerial directions that have been recently considered by this committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you for facilitating me remotely today. Today I'm presenting to you a ministerial direction around financial support scheme for the Blue Tongue pre-movement testing. And just picking up on your point, Chair, I would say this is much more straightforward than those that have been with you previously. So I'll take you through it. The accounting officer from DAERA wrote to me on the 20th of January advising that she had received a ministerial direction on the 23rd of December to implement financial support scheme of up to 0.3 million to assist farmers meet the cost of animal testing. And the background to this was, you'll be aware that there was the detection and confirmation of a blue tongue virus on the 5th of December. And the minister put a temporary control zone in place at that point. It was then lifted on the 19th of December with the condition that certain types of animals more susceptible to the virus underwent pre-movement testing in a bid to mitigate the risk of any further spread. The minister then asked his officials to look at a scheme whereby financial support could be provided to those farmers who had to ensure their animals underwent the testing. Officials advised the minister that they could not recommend such a move because, given the tight time scales and the evidence available at that time, they couldn't construct a case for value for money in line with managing public money. So the minister signalled that he wished to proceed with such a scheme, and the accounting officer then sought and obtained a ministerial direction from the minister. In terms of the steps taken, it was sought, it was approved by the minister, it was then further approved by the Minister of Finance, and I was duly notified. So in terms of process, I can confirm to you members that it was all in accordance with the requirements of managing public money. And as usual, I will keep the spend I will look at that during the course of next year's audit process as well.
Thank you very much for that, Dorinnia. You've very kindly outlined how this is different compared to the very unique types of ministerial directions that this committee has considered over the last number of weeks. And just for the record, given that we are in public session, Dorinnia, this is the fourth ministerial direction?
Yes, that's right. Or fifth.
Okay, and just for clarity's sake, can we confirm what the other three were, which departments?
So it's actually the fifth. So the first one you have seen recently was the A5. So the A5 from the Department for Infrastructure, and then the second one you had was for the Health Pay Award, Department of Health. You then had the FIFA Women's World Cup, Department for the Economy. And then last week, the Teachers Pay Award, Department for Education. And now the Blue Tongue virus from the Department for Agriculture and Rural Affairs. So 5 in total. Apologies, Chair, 5.
And in terms of, I know you'd said that the consideration we're given to today's ministerial direction is entirely in line with the requirements and the process under managing public money. Compared to the use of the others, the others were compliant, but just to refer back to the FIFA one, did your office yet receive a copy of the minutes from the executive to confirm that the decision was made and the process was duly followed?
No, not to my knowledge. I caught up with the director on Friday of last week. It hadn't been received at that point. No.
Okay, what's the next steps in relation to that?
So the accounting officer is aware that we have, requested that. He's also aware then that I went ahead and brought that to the Public Accounts Committee. I would expect that when the accounting officer receives them, he will forward those on in the knowledge that we have been asking for them. And certainly we can continue just to seek that via the accounting officer.
Okay, and I think the minutes have also been requested from TEO as well in writing, so hopefully we'll have that clarification fairly quickly, which is good. In terms of the are you aware of any other ministerial directions that are coming your direction?
No, I haven't been advised of any others at this stage, so nothing.
Okay, that's grand. Any other members looking to
Chair, we have
ask
the
any
Deputy
questions?
Chair and Mr. Boylan.
Okay. Yeah, okay, Dan?
Yeah, thank you, Chair, and thanks very much, Dorinnia, for briefing us on this one. I think that this one is perhaps different to the rest, as it was responsive to the Blue Tongue and the farmers facing a crisis, and it arose and was sought in the back of that, which is, I think, quite different to the theme of the others. But again, like with the others, from me looking at it, I would think that the fact that the accounting officer is recognising that they can't afford this, and then they're going to the Ministerial Direction, is better governance than it sort of going through and ending up sitting with it when overspent and coming out after the time. Would that be right, Dorinnia?
If I could just clarify a wee point there, Diane. So the accounting officer couldn't construct a case for value for money. However, in the underlying detail, and I haven't put that into my overarching letter to you, but in the underlying detail, the accounting officer does point out that it is affordable, in fact, but that just with the time and the evidence available, they couldn't construct a value for money case for it. But they do point out that it does, she's content that it would be regular and feasible, but and affordable. But it's a value for money case that couldn't be constructed at short notice and with the evidence available. She also raised concerns to the minister just around the precedent being set. And you'll see in the correspondence, the minister responded to say that each case would any further precedent would be considered on a case-by-case basis. So, sorry, that's maybe a very long-winded way of saying it is maybe as expected.
Yeah, and in terms of our role on this committee and looking at the role of the accounting officers, so it sounds like quite comprehensive that this accounting officer has followed the process appropriately. Is that fair?
Yes, very, very much so. All of the considerations in the underlying documentation were very detailed, very focused on the accounting officer's duties in law and the duties in managing public money. So that's all been very clearly laid out in the submissions to the minister.
Okay, thanks, Dorinnia. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Trina. Cahill?
Thank you, Chair, and thanks very much. Trina, just a wee point of clarification, because it seems to me the words that keep coming up is about timescale and lack of evidence. I mean, where do we draw the line then in relation to that? I mean, I appreciate you said the follow procedure, but I'm just wondering, that generally happens on most of the cases. Is that a case of timescale or lack of evidence when they introduce these in the first place, or is it other factors, or is any other procedure there, say, like this was a crisis issue, So where's the difference in all that in terms of, giving an explanation for us as a committee how we look at that in the future? Because that's the two things that keep coming up. It's timescales. We don't have enough evidence to gauge this at this time. So even if they had the money to pay for it, like you say, can you respond to that, please?
Yeah, I think this one, it was the time scale really that was the very issue, because this one was very reactive to the outbreak of the virus, to trying to contain it, and still allow an element of animal movement. And so the testing was required. So it was that very tight and reactive time scale. My reading of it is what concerned the accounting officer, that they didn't have time, Cal, to work up a business case around the whole value for money of the spend. So this one is very much about the reactionary nature. Others that you've seen before haven't necessarily been reacting to something, but others have been more focused on a lack of evidence available. If I compare maybe to the FIFA Women's World Cup, there were so many unknowns at the point in time that the executive were being required to sign up to it. The accounting officer in that occasion made it very clear to the minister that they didn't have sufficient evidence available. And again, there was a little bit of time pressure there. The pay awards weren't necessarily about time pressure. They were more around unaffordability. So each of them has their own nuances, but this one was very much around reacting to something unforeseen and trying to react quickly, and just didn't afford the accounting officer and her officials time to work up a business case to prove value for money of that spend.
No, I appreciate that point. Probably my real point is then, in this case, there should have been, there's emergency provision there to deal with things like crisis. I mean, would this issue set outside of that? That's all I'm saying to you. Or is that obviously has to, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? If this is a crisis issue, surely there's issues there, the likes of COVID and all. There was powers and all to bring forward to deal with crisis. That's all I'm asking. Was there any difference in relation to this? That's all. I understand my point in terms of ministerial direction is just fine, but if this is a crisis, there should be other provisions there to deal with within a department, no? Or maybe I'm wrong about that.
I understand what you're saying. Unfortunately, even in crisis situations, there's still a requirement for value for money for spend, and I think really that's
fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah, the accounting officer was making it very clear that she was still bound by the requirements of managing public money.
100%. No, just that's all I was asking. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other members?
No one else has indicated.
So, Dorinnia, just to clarify, out of the 5 ministerial directions that this committee has considered in recent times, the teachers' pay award, ministerial direction, the healthcare workers' ministerial direction, and the FIFA Women's World Cup ministerial direction, were they all as a result of it not being affordable, or is it just the 2 pay ones?
They were all not affordable. Yes, is what. Yeah.
So they will all lead to an overspend, basically.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's Department for Education, Department for Health, and Department for Economy. Is that right?
Yeah. Now, economy is a very much into the future one. The FIFA World Cup. Yeah. There was 2 factions to that. One was a small amount to spend, 183,000 from memory, that would fall for the bid costs that weren't within the budgets. The bigger concern around an overspend was the actual costs that would fall in 2035. And I suppose it's probably unfair to say an overspend. It's just at this point in time, there is no budget that far out. So the accounting officer is saying there was no certainty, I guess, of budget. So a slight nuance there.
Can you just remind us again, just because we're on the record, what those figures were again for that FIFA Women's World Cup?
I don't have them to hand. If I'm working from memory here, Chair, I can actually, it was 183,000 for the bid costs, and I can't recall actually but I can look it up and forward it to the committee or come in at a later point, Chair. So I don't want to misquote myself.
No, that's grand. That's helpful. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Dorinnia, for that. Members, we'll now move to the next item, which is the inquiry on homelessness in Northern Ireland. It's the consideration of the draft report, and to consider such, we'll begin into closed session. Okay, members? Thank you.